If you're in high school, this video is for you. I'm here with my little brother who is still in high school, and we're going to have an amazing self-improvement discussion on how you can improve every area of your life. So, Kian, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Dale. My name is Kian. I go by Checkmate. I'm a video editor, and I'm also Dale's video editor as well. I've been on self improvement for who knows how long, plenty of time. And I'm currently in high school, like Dale said. I'm a junior, and I'm excited to talk about some self improvement topics with you guys.
All right, so the first question I have for you is why did you start self-improvement?
Right. So it's a pretty interesting answer, but all my life, I've always felt like I was on a path that I didn't want to be on. And not that it's necessarily a bad path, but it's just a path that was very mundane, and it's the typical 9 to 5. I didn't think that I would want to live my life that way. So the way I started with self improvement was, you know, the goal for achieving a better life for myself. And I started in 2022, April 2022, when my friend showed me a video of Andrew Tate, and I really resonated with his message because he made it seem like it was okay to want to live a better life than the cards you're given. So I started taking the gym more seriously. I started venturing in business. I started, looks maxing, improving my looks, improving my clothing, all these things, and that's how I got here today.
And one thing I'll say about that is there's a lot of people out there who feel the same way, who feel like they are not getting, or I'd say young men specifically, right? Who kind of want more out of life and they feel like the traditional school path isn't for them. And then there's influencers like Andrew Tate, which, if you're watching this video, you probably know who he is. But the one influencer that I follow, his name is Hamza, right? So there's this group of young men across the world and they're all going online to get advice on how to improve their life, which I just find interesting because I'm one of those people, and my younger brother here is as well, and most likely you, right? So let's figure out how to do it, right? Let's figure out how to level up. So you said you're a video editor.
Yes.
How did that come about? How did you? My question for you, right, is how did you pick your business? Because a lot of young men who want to start improving their lives don't even know what to pick. There's all these different options, drop shipping, was it SMMA, and all this like stuff. Like they don't know what to do. How do you pick a business?
Right. So I went through the trials and tribulations of picking a business as well. I've started and dabbled in, but quit many businesses before. As some people may know, I was a rapper. I sold candy. I had a drop shipping business that made no money. I've done a lot of things. I started a clothing brand that nobody bought anything from. So I think the most important thing about picking a business is finding one that you enjoy and sticking to it. Now, a lot of people, they don't see success within the first couple of months, so they quit, or they see something else, someone saying this is the best business idea for 2024. Nothing else works except for this. They see that and they go, "Oh, I need to be doing this," even though they're just saying that so you buy their course, right? So I think the most important thing for picking a business is finding something that you are interested in, so you can go out and learn. It's not like labor for you, and you have to stay consistent with it. So for me with video editing, the way I found that was back in 2017, Dale and I started our first YouTube channel. So we were making comedy skits and blogs and all those things. And as he learned editing, I also learned editing. And I was around that for X amount of years. How many is that? 2017 to 2024. That's how long I've been in the field of editing. So we recently moved down south. And in my new school, the one of the school specialty classes is a video editing class. So it's called Advanced Film Editing. So I feel like it was all just meant to be. I'm religious, so I just believe it's all God's plan. And now I think it's time. This is the business. This is the one I gotta lock in on. So again, to recap, find a business that you're interested in and be consistent on it.
One thing I'll say about that is it was something that you've done for a long time, making videos, right, or editing videos, and
Right.
right now with me making videos on the YouTube channel, it's the same thing. We've been doing it for a while, and I think that for a lot of people, the business that they should choose is one that they've already had an interest in from a young age. Because I had always been interested in speaking as I remember my freshman year of high school. I did a public speaking course or class, and then I did I made a podcast where I was talking a lot, and I also was always making videos in between, like for different school clubs. I was always making videos, and that's why I decided, okay, if I want to do any business, it should be involving speaking and video because that's what I've always done, right? And I think the reason why I hadn't committed to it, like you said earlier in my life, is because it was fear. Because if it's something that you really care about, there is going to be a lot of fear around it, especially if it's something like art. So I had to overcome my fear of like making bad videos and everyone's seeing my videos, like all my friends, family, everyone's watching these videos, right? So I overcame that fear, and now every day that I'm sitting down to do the work that needs to be done, I feel good because I know this is something that truly, truly matters to me versus something like drop shipping, which is like that's like whatever, like that's just work, right? So, but this is like something that genuinely fulfills me. So I think there's also an element of having that bravery to pursue what matters to you.
Right. And I want to touch on that quickly. Yeah, the fear is probably your biggest enemy. Now, this is, I can say this for me. I wasn't always, well, I'm not even that great of an editor now, but I wasn't as good as I am now, a couple months ago. And all it is repetition. And the same thing with Dale. I've watched every single video Dale has posted in the past 3 months. I've watched it raw, unedited, and I've seen how much he's grown. And yes, you have the fear that you're not going to do well, which is true. You're probably not going to do well your first time, but you're going to grow. It's all about the repetition. It's just like the gym. If you keep lifting that weight, you're eventually going to get stronger. If you keep practicing your skill, you're eventually going to get better. So the biggest thing is to get rid of that fear, just get over that fear and face it head on. It's the brave choice, right? And you're just going to get better. You're going to improve. And it's all just consistency, repetition, and all that stuff.
Yes, sir. Lock in, bro. Lock in. Yeah. Yes, sir. So tell me when you started your editing business, like exactly, like when did you start and how has that journey been so far? How much money have you made? How's it going?
Right. So I started this business in probably I want to say August of 2023. That was when I shut down my dropshipping business because all there's a bunch of legal things. I'm not 18 yet, so bank accounts and social security numbers. It was a little bit too intricate for me to deal with at that time. So I switched over to a freelance business model, and I chose video editing as my skill because like I said, I've always been around that for the past 7 years. And so yeah, late or no, just late summer of 2023. I started in August, and so far I've been building up my skills. I've been adding to my portfolio, and now I'm looking into reaching out to clients and actually starting to make some big money. So far, it's been pretty slow. I've made probably like $200 so far within that time frame, and it's just a grind right now. Really, is just learning the skill that's really important for me because the way that you're going to get returning clients in business model is to deliver results. So I'm doing research. I'm understanding how I can help my client grow. I'm understanding how I can be a better video editor, be more captivating for audiences. And that's probably the most important thing for this type of business model because you want satisfied clients and that's how you're going to make the big dollars. So that's my journey so far.
Yes, sir. And you start August of 2023 was during the summer, right?
Yes.
So when the school year started, how did you come to balance working on your business and working on school?
Yeah, so school hit me hard. In the first couple months, it wasn't too hard. I was able to edit after school. So what I did was I got up at 7, left for school at 7:40, did my thing at school, came back home around 3:30. I would work out and eat, and then I would edit, which was weird because my most important task of the day I saved for last. So I was always I was always like kind of tired after my entire day was done because I was going through school for hours, working out, all those things, and then I had my spare hours to work on editing. So recently, it was about a month, maybe a month and a half ago. Dale was home for a winter break, and we were talking about it. And he gave me the genius idea to wake up a couple hours before school and edit then because that was my priority. So in like January, I started waking up at 4 a.m. First, I started with 5, and we were like, yeah, 5 doesn't sound as cool as 4. I didn't switch because of that, but I just needed an extra hour in the morning. So I started waking up at 4. I edited until 7, so that's 3 hours, and then I got ready for school. And now I'm aiming to go to sleep at 8 p.m. every night so I can get my 8 hours. So balancing school and business, it's hard, and not everyone can wake up at 4 a.m. But I'd say the most important thing is understand your priorities. Get your schoolwork done during class, as much of it as you can. If you have free periods, take advantage of those, and you'll be successful. And yes, you might have to sacrifice talking to your friends during school, but it's all a trade-off. You know, if you want to be successful, you have to understand what your priorities are, what you have to sacrifice, and things like that.
All right, so we'll talk about more about school in just a second, but I have also been doing the same thing like my brother here, waking up early and getting the most important tasks done. This concept is known as eating the frog, right? If you had a if you had a big meal and then a frog, what would you eat first? If you eat the big meal, then you're already full and it's going to be even harder to eat the frog. But if you eat the frog first, then the rest of the meal is just enjoyable, right? So I wake up at 6 a.m., which is way better than waking up at 4 a.m., way easier, right? And the reason I'm able to do that is because in college you can make your classes later, right? But in high school, you're most likely just gonna have to wake up early, like super early, which is kind of difficult, right? And I just work for 2 hours just filming videos, and that's what I do to make sure that work is done. But yeah, if you have a priority, make sure you put it first because like Kian said, school will just completely drain you. And you just think, how could you possibly expect yourself to like actually make progress towards a business, like a business, like making money? That's actually like hard. Like there's competition out there, you know. There's other people working to achieve the same business model, and you just think that you can just walk in there and just on low battery after the whole day and just try to compete. Like no, wake up when you're full capacity and work hard. That is the mindset that you want to be in, right? Now let's talk about school now, right? I remember when I was in high school, I would use these headphones right here in class and I would have my noise canceling on and I would move to a different part of the room and just do my work because usually during class, like when we have time to do classwork, everyone's just scrolling or talking to each other. We're just goofing around, right? But I realized that I wanted to do stuff outside of school, like you know what I mean? Like most people, they don't do anything outside of school, so they just mess around in school and do their homework outside of school, right? But I was just locked. I started to lock in, get my headphones, and just grind, like genuinely grind. I remember we had to read a book and then answer questions. I put the audiobook on 3 times speed. And then I got the assignment done so fast. The substitute teacher thought I was like I just rushed it and didn't do a good job. But then the actual teacher, she came in and let him know like no, Dale's like he's a weapon. He's an academic weapon. So that was a that was a funny story. So how have you been managing? Because you're still in high school. How are you? What struggles are you facing right now in terms of trying to get the work done, the homework done?
All right. So currently, I am in a bit of a pickle. My other, I have two AP classes this year. I don't know how that happened. Actually, I do know how, but it was a mistake. We'll say that. Um, with my other classes, it's not really too hard. I'm in this semester. I'm in Math 4, which is like pre-calculus or something. Math 4 honors. I'm taking AP Environmental Science and AP Computer Science, Sales 1, and Adobe Visual honors. So those last two classes I said, those are easy. I don't have to worry about those too much because I'm interested in them, right? The first class, math, it takes a lot of time, but it's okay because I can understand it. My AP classes are where I'm having issues. It's it's about the work load. And I don't always do the work I have to out that are it's like assigned outside of class, which has brought my grades down a little bit. And I have trouble locking in during that second block period because I wake up at 4, so I'm deep working for 3 hours. Then I'm deep working in math, and then I have to deep work again. So I'm not the best at that. So my struggles right now is just really doing the work, and again eating the third frog, right? So that's my struggle, and currently it's taking a hit on me because now I have to make up my work and keep up with my editing because I have people waiting on me, relying on me, all that stuff. So I'd say my biggest struggle, yeah, is doing the work, and I feel like the solution is simple, right? It's obvious, but it's hard to do. And like Dale spoke about, he said visualization is very helpful, and that has helped me. It's helped me lock in for math, and eventually, I believe that I'll be able to lock in for my second block classes as well with the help of the visualization.
So to expand on visualization, it's essentially changing the way that you see yourself in order to make better choices and decisions. So when you're struggling in high school or when you get a bad grade, it's easy to say, I'm stupid or I can't do this. This is too hard, right? But when you do that, you reinforce that identity in your mind, which will just lead you to continue getting the same results, right? But by visualizing yourself as a person who pays attention in class and gets work done and gets good grades, you will naturally start to do the actions that will lead to those results that you visualized. So that's what Keen's talking about, right?
Right.
And another thing that I want to mention is that right now you can see that Kean is struggling and he's trying to figure out how to balance it. And to anyone, on self improvement in high school, that's just how it is. Like there's a lot of variables here at play that you have to play around with and see what works, right? So what I'd recommend Keen to do is to like right now he's struggling with he's focusing in the morning and then he's focusing in his first class, but then he's burnt out by that next class, right? So I would recommend either finding a way to recharge in between that time or a way to make sure he has enough energy throughout the day because right now Kian is maybe not super consistent with his sleep schedule or something like that, right? Or maybe it's the food that he's eating, something like that, right? Or it could be maybe he needs to take a break, right? So you're basically, as you optimize your day, you're going to be trying a bunch of different habits and techniques and to really learn your biology. Like it just, this self improvement, like mastering your routine, gets really intricate with details, but it's actually fun because when you start to make these little improvements, it leads to a huge change. Your life will just genuinely change, like hugely, and you'll feel such a great sense of accomplishment. Like in 1 month, the problems that Kian is talking about right now, he's not going to have anymore. It's going to be something else. And I feel like when a young man has those problems in his life and he solves them instead of just trying to escape from them with video games and which essentially just makes them worse, right? When you actually solve your problems, you just feel amazing because you know that you overcame yourself. You've literally become better. You've become stronger. You have leveled up in real life, and that is something extremely beautiful.
Well said. Well said.
So, we talked about business, we talked about grades, but now it is time to talk about the social life. Now, Kian has just moved to a new school because we had both moved to a different part of the country, right? So Kian has had no friends coming into this school, and talk about your experience.
Ah, right. So for clarity, Dale was also going to new school because he's going to college. So it was the summer of 2023, right before our school year, and we were talking. We were like, "All right, we're gonna be social. We're gonna get a bunch of friends." Right? Dale left for college. I left for high school. Dale was like, "Yo, I was such a W. I was talking to everyone. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I met this dude, and he's 6'4". He gets all the girls. And I met this other dude. He's my roommate. He goes to the gym. Everyone on our floor goes to the gym. We're all strong. Yeah, yeah." And I'm like, "Dope." And he goes, "What did you do?" I was like, you know. Like I was just feeling out the ground. I was lying. It was not good. I didn't talk to anybody my first semester. I was the guy that sat in the corner and didn't talk to anyone because I'd say it was a mix of social anxiety, a mix of me being judgmental that I didn't want to fit in with these kids, right? Because they're not necessarily on self improvement, I mean, on surface level. But who am I to judge that, you know? And I feel like you can't really judge people until you talk to them, right? So I decided to change this for my second semester. Second semester, I'm changed completely. My first class in math, I met this dude. He's uh he's on self improvement. He watches Hamza. He has a clothing brand. We're talking every day. Really genuine dude. Second block, well, second block's the same. So I have my people that I talk to in those classes. Third block, I'm really good. I have a clique. I speak to people. It's my sales class, so I'm with like-minded people. You know what I'm saying? Uh, fourth block, I'm talking to people. You know, so it's a massive improvement, and I think the main thing that played into that was mindset. So I flipped my mindset like this, like Dale said, envision yourself, visualize yourself as a social person. Because think about it, when you visualize yourself as a social person, your mind is going to subconsciously change things about you. It's going to change the posture from this to this. It's going to change your face from this to this. And these little things make you more approachable. Now, I'm not going to kid around. I look like a thug, right? So I think when I'm judging people and I'm looking like an unsocial person, just want to talk to them like this, they're not going to want to talk to me either, right? But when I'm putting myself out there, I'm smiling at people, I'm having good energy, I'm open. When I speak, I go like this. That's attractive and that brings people to me as well. So it's a two-way thing. You can't just assume people are going to come talk to you. You got to talk to them too. And you have to get out of your comfort zone. And yes, it's scary. It is scary. I'm telling you that right now. I've, I've had some interesting interactions that maybe we can get into in a bit. But, you know, it's just all it is visualizing and just stepping outside the comfort zone. And it'll be easy after a while. You know?
Yeah, when you really think about it, right? If you were to sit down and say, I'm going to improve my social skills, that first month would literally be the hardest it will ever be. Because you know what I mean? Because right now you're probably not talking to many people at all, so you're not getting any experience. But if you took 1 month and just talked to as many people as possible, you would understand it now. You would have that much. It would be way easier. It'll only get easier, and that's the crazy thing. But because it's so hard at the beginning, a lot of people don't try. And a good example I can give is I'm in college and it's my second semester, and I'm just talking to one of my friends that I met like one of the first weeks of college, and I'm just telling him like, "Yo, you got any girls, bro?" And he starts smiling. He's like, "Oh, no, no, no." And he's like, "Nah, I've actually haven't even met any girls." And when I hear that, I'm like, "Bro, what do you mean? How is that even possible, right?" And he's telling me where do I meet them? I don't know how. I don't know where to meet them. And there's literally a girl sitting like in front of him, like at the table, right? And that's when I realized like this is a thing of mindset. When you have you when you have the mindset like that it's hard to meet people, that people don't want to talk to you, etc., etc. When you keep engaging in the negative thoughts that you have, you're not gonna go out there and push yourself to meet people, and you're just gonna continue getting the same results, right? So when I came to college, I went online and I tried to find like good mindsets to have for being social, right? And a good example I can give is the idea of rejection, right? We're a lot of us are scared of rejection, and because of that, we're not gonna go talk to someone. But when you have a different mindset of rejection is actually it's actually okay, because when you get rejected, you're just finding someone who doesn't really mess with you, right? Like if you want to make friends with someone and they don't really want to talk to you at all, that's actually a good thing because they don't want to talk to you, so you're filtering them out. But now you can find people who are who actually want to talk to you, right? And it's just little things like this, like mindset, right? I really want you to. The main point I'm trying to get at is to not trust your own brain, because your own brain is keeping you lonely, right? So I would recommend just going online and trying to find some better mindsets that you could attain and use that to become more social. And another thing that I wanted to bring up was the idea of authenticity, right? Because my brother told me that that was another big role that helped him become more social. So you want to explain a little bit about that, and also explain like why you weren't authentic in the beginning.
Right. So authenticity is a very interesting topic. And I believe, yes, like Dale said, I believe authenticity is the best way to be more social because a lot of us, when we meet people, we're saying, oh, I want to fit in. What kind of jokes do they like? You know, we try to change ourselves to match what they are, right? So we're being inauthentic. And that is damaging because we're not being our true selves, but we're not satisfied. We don't feel like we're real. We have to put on an act. And that's not healthy for relationships because you're not going to find the real people that like you for you. They're just liking you because you're putting on this facade, this mask, right? So authenticity, I started implementing it this semester to meet more people. And I was very surface level with it. I wasn't super 100% me because I'm a little overbearing for some people, but I let my personality bleed through. I'm a loud person. I like to talk about self improvement. I like to talk about business. So I'm really out there. So whenever I meet people, one of the first things I bring up is self improvement because I feel like everyone can relate to that. Everyone can relate to trying to dress better, trying to look better, trying to be healthier, working out. You know, most guys in high school and in college can relate to hitting the gym, right? Dale's whole floor is full of gym goers. So I think talking about self improvement is a very surefire way to navigate new friends because you're always going to be able to have a conversation about that. And being authentically you is such a powerful thing because you build these genuine connections with people. I wouldn't have met the people that I really messed with, the guys that are on self improvement like I am, if I wasn't authentic. I met this one guy. I told you about him earlier. My friend I met in math class. He boxes a bit. He has a clothing brand. He's on self improvement. I wouldn't have known that if I didn't talk to him. I have another friend. He's a kickboxer. He goes to the gym. He plays sports. He wants to be in the business realm. He's taking a bunch of business classes. I wouldn't have known that if I wasn't authentic. I met another guy in my math class. He does stock trading, something like that. He hasn't really told me much about it yet, but he hits the gym as well. And I would have known that if I wasn't authentic. And now, since I was authentic with all these people and they were authentic with me back, and we're all like-minded, we're planning on hanging out whenever our busy schedules align, which is hopefully the middle of next month, March. And that's going to be an amazing thing too. That's going to be fun. Planning on hitting the gym, which is a like-minded thing, and we're being authentically us. And then we can exchange this energy, and it's just a positive feedback loop that we're getting.
And I remember you would tell me at the beginning of the semester or the first semester in this school year, you were tell when you weren't making any friends, weren't talking to anyone. I remember you didn't want to talk to people because you were kind of judging them. You saw them as like bots, right? People who don't do self improvement and things like that, right? But like you said, everyone does self improvement, or maybe not everyone does it, but there are people out there who do care about it, right? And to find those people, you just have to be authentic, and you have to be able to talk about that, to be yourself. Really, I think being yourself is something that's not easy. Like it's common advice. Everyone just says be yourself, but no, we're constantly not being ourselves. We're hiding the things that we care about because we're afraid of being judged. Something that matters so deeply to us. Like if someone were to laugh at that, that would be like, oh man, right? And I think that's the reason why we hide the things that's important to us. But from both of us, my brother and me, when we started just being straight out the gate, like I'm on self improvement, or what I do is I say like, I'm hi, my name is Dale, I'm a YouTuber, like just like that. My relationships have gotten so much better because now everyone sees the real me instead of me just trying to hide it away.
Right. And another thing too. recently, this was yesterday. I was having a conversation with one of my friends. He's a sophomore. He was talking about how he likes this girl, and I was like, man, just go up to her. You don't have to worry about this crazy plan or try to. He was like, oh, I'm gonna wait till her Bitmoji pops up on my quick ad so that when I add her, it doesn't look like I was stalking. I was like, bro, it's not that serious. Just go up to her, say hello, introduce yourself. And I was being loud, and he was like, yo, everyone's looking. And I looked around. Everyone had their AirPods in, so one, they can't hear me. Two, they're looking at their screens. They're working. I was like, bro, just be authentic. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to, be like this. And one, that's gonna help you just with your confidence in general. And two, that's gonna help you get the girl you want. She doesn't want you to be a feeble little. All right. I'm being a little bit too authentic here. She doesn't want you to be feeble like that. I mean, I'm sure there's some girls that are into that, but generally, women like confidence. Women like someone who is authentic with themselves because women have like a sense. They can see it. They can see when you're not being real. So it's very important in all realms to be authentic because you can form relationships, romantic relationships, business relationships. All these things is very important for your social skills.
So that's a perfect segue into dating. And my question for you is, do you think that young men in high school should date?
Interesting question. Most people would say no. I'm gonna say sure. Why not? Because I think at this time it's an important way to learn. I'm gonna be very open here. I in freshman year was in a relationship and it was pretty toxic, I'd say. And I wasn't happy. People could see I wasn't happy. It was horrible. She was getting mad at me every other day, for saying random. It was just not the best. But I take that and I can learn from it. I learned one, don't be subservient because that's not me. I don't want to be subservient. I don't want to be held on like a tight string, where I'm afraid to say my own opinions or my own, what's the word, parameters that I set for myself in relationships. I was afraid to say that because I thought she'd get mad. But now I learned from that because that's not healthy for me, and it's probably not healthy for the relationship. And I think it's a really good learning experience. You get to learn and understand female nature. You get to learn about yourself. You get to learn all of these things. And yeah, it's not going to be super serious. It's very unlikely that you're going to get married from a high school relationship. But I say, why not? Have fun. Find someone that you enjoy the company with. Um, I don't think too much fun can be done. Just, be smart, be respectful, and be mindful of yourself and to your significant other.
And I ask this question because I see this idea that young men should like focus on themselves, like focus on yourself, king, or something like that. Like, don't think about girls like at all. Like don't even do it. Don't do self improvement to get girls, and just focus on yourself. And like while I understand like the idea that you should be caring about yourself and making yourself the priority, I don't think that young men should just completely drop out of dating and just
Right.
abandon it completely.
Right. With everything that's balanced, right? Currently, I'm very stressed out with all my work that I have, and I don't necessarily have time for a girl. But prom's coming up, so I'm okay with venturing out in that area and getting myself a prom date. You know what I'm saying? And I think the most important thing is taking care of yourself first. My grandmother has a quote that says, I forgot the quote. Hold on. It's like, always take care of yourself and ensure your future. I butchered that, but that's the main point. So I think it's always good to take care of yourself and understand what is important to you and don't sacrifice the important things for the significant other because we can go down the rabbit hole. It goes very deep about the effects that has on the relationship, but I'll keep it very surface level. It's important to stay true and stick true to your values and your priorities, because one, it builds the attraction, and you also ensure your future. So these people that say only focus on themselves, don't worry about girls, that's extremist. But it's also extremist to only be chasing girls and only be doing things for the girls, because that's unhealthy. Both of those sides, the polarization is unhealthy. So you have to find something in the middle where you can balance having a girl and working on yourself. And sure, you can have a period of your life where you're not worried about girls, and that's okay. But then once you find someone, you don't have to say no. You don't have to hide away because you think you only have to focus on your work, laser vision. No, you can invite her into your life, and if it works, it doesn't. If it doesn't, oh well. And you can go back and bounce back on yourself. So it's good to have a balance. I think yin and yang is very important. So
I think that's a perfect way to wrap up this video or this interview. Balance is everything. And there's a lot of things that we talked about here today: business, grades, social circle, and dating, right? You're juggling all these things at the same time. And I think that to get that balance where everything is just right, it's going to take time. You're going to have to really work at it and optimize different things, like make sure your sleep's good and implement this habit here, this habit there, and also cutting things out that don't matter. And video games is a really big example that I can give here, because a lot of people, what they like to do, like when they get home, they just sit down, play some games, or watch television and social media, just time that's not spent ensuring their future, right? So when you're engaging in those activities, you're missing out on the most valuable resource that you have as a young man, which is your time. As a young man, you don't have money, you don't even have any skills, you don't have any knowledge, you just have time. And it's how you use that time that's going to determine the rest of your life. So figure out how you can use your time towards the priorities that matter, and life will be good. You will make progress, you will become happier.